Good day, everybody. It is Thursday, July the 20th, 2017, and we're here with another random daily rule. Well, welcome back, everyone. It looks like I have thrown down the gauntlet and I have recommended that everybody make their own characters and ignore the quick start rules. So today I'm going to jump into my personal favorite part of it. Aside from selecting ability scores your own way you want to, assigning skills, my what I really enjoy is filling out that inventory section of the character sheet. So since we're not going to be using the quick start guides to pick what we're carrying, we might as well figure out where in the book tells us how to find our starting equipment. So I'm going to go ahead and turn to page 143 of the Player's Handbook. And about midway down the page, you're going to see a section called Starting Equipment. And it states here, when you create your character, you receive equipment based on a combination of your class and background. Alternatively, you can start with a number of gold pieces based on your class and spend them on items from the lists in this chapter. See Starting Wealth by Class table below to determine how much gold you have to spend. You decide how your character came upon the starting equipment. It might have been an inheritance or goods that the character has purchased during his or her upbringing. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, come up with an interesting thing there. That could be fun. Maybe maybe if it fits into your ideals, flaws, and personality traits, your DM could even award you with inspiration if it's something interesting or sinister enough. So we'll go ahead and move a little bit further down the page here, and you'll see, based on your class, it's all going to be a combination of die 4 times 10 to figure out how many gold pieces you start with. Recently I created a ranger, Niella, and you guys saw her backstory, short backstory video on this channel as well. And I believe I came up with 130. And I went down, and of course over the next couple of pages you're going to see a couple explanations of some different kinds of gear, a couple different variant rules, and tell you about armor. I went ahead and picked out some leather armor for her, and so I marked down, I like to keep track of weight, so I marked down that it was 10 pounds, and we went ahead and modified my armor class. So there was 10 gold, and a couple more pages of rules and interesting things. We'll get into those, trust me. Before it got into weaponry, and I wanted to go a little bit interesting. I know it's a ranger, so of course we went with the martial ranged weapon of the longbow. That was 50 gold. That's a big expenditure because I liked it because it did a little bit higher damage, D8 instead of the D6 from the short bow. 2-pound weapon, so I marked that down. But I also wanted to have something for melee, so I'm going through the martial melee weapons here, and I mean, who hasn't made their copy of Dristwarden and bought some scimitars? Who hasn't, went ahead and gotten a long sword and a short sword? But I've personally never used the whip. And it's a finesse weapon with reach, meaning, and we'll go into these rules again, finesse and reach meaning not only does it deal with your dexterity modifier instead of your strength for the melee attack, it's also a reach weapon, so you can hit someone who's 10 feet away instead of just the normal 5. So I liked the idea of a long striking dagger, because that's essentially what it is, doing the same damage with the 1d4, and slashing damage instead of piercing. That could be interesting. So I went ahead and marked that down, 2 gold, 3 pounds. Then comes, I don't know why, I've always considered this the most interesting part. You get into adventuring gear. You start looking at some of the interesting things they've marked down here. Always get yourself a backpack. Always get yourself a bedroll. And then save yourself a little money. I mean, like, why not go into the world with 10, 15 gold left over? But I would say that it could really benefit you to go through some of these things and fill that backpack up with some interesting stuff. I mean, we've got quivers here. If we go back to the weapons screen, we'd see that you could buy a fill that quiver with arrows for a gold. That's, of course, standard arrows, no big deal. Some arcane foci if you want to change things up as your spellcaster. A little pack of ball bearings, why not? That could be interesting. Interesting stuff here. Candles, why not? Chest seems kind of complicated. You wouldn't want to haul that around with you. A crowbar, absolutely. Why not have some fun with that, especially if you have a little bit of a strength bonus. Fishing tackle, that could be interesting. Iron spikes. I honestly never knew why I would want these until a game recently, about a month or so ago. Dark Age reminded me that these could very easily be used to either prop a door open, or if you're on the correct side of the door, you could hammer a couple of them under the door itself to lock the door in place. So you got some baddies chasing you, shut the door, jam a couple of these iron spikes underneath it, and you're safe for a little while. But yeah, really just go through this. Of course, you're going to need some rope. Go ahead and pick up some rope there. That's inexpensive. And a 10-foot pole, if you can explain to me why it's convenient and practical to walk down a narrow dungeon corridor with a 10-foot pole sticking out your pack, especially if you're a gnome. I'm kidding. They're useful. But yeah, fill your backpack, man. Find some interesting things, because you never know when you're going to find that interesting moment where you can say, hey, I do have a 10-foot ladder. I do have a lamp. And you can, role play that into your adventure. Guys, it's been a fun week. We're going to have one more of these this week coming tomorrow night. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. Don't forget to leave any questions you may have, things you want to focus on for tomorrow's random daily rule. Again, I thank you for watching, and have a great night.